The Arizona Diamondbacks, chasing first place in the National League West, have to do so outside of the National League. It is interleague baseball for the next 5 series for these Diamondbacks. So if they're going to make hay in the National League, they're going to have to win in the American League. Certainly a fun series. Ozzie Guillen-led Chicago White Sox come to town. An awful start for the White Sox. They're playing much better baseball, going toe-to-toe with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, folks. Good to be back with all of you, and welcome back to the ballpark.
Good to have you back.
This is Mark Grace. Thank you, my friend. My name is Darren Sutton. We've got a fun series to talk about because right out of the gates we have a big, big offense, and especially right there in the heart of the order. Carlos Quentin, former Diamondback. Paul Konerko, local product out of Chaparral High. The older he gets, the better he gets.
Oh, there's no question. Paul Konerko is now one of the more dominant power hitters in the American League. He's a guy that kind of flies under the radar because he plays on the south side of Chicago. But these are two guys that are back-to-back hitters as dangerous as anybody in baseball, Darren.
Certainly would be fun to see what that outfield could have been like with Quentin in it, but he was moved. Paul Konerko saying it came down to a coin flip this winter. He almost was a Diamondback.
Yeah, that coin flip had something to do with about $7 million that he got from the Chicago White Sox. However, it would have been fun to see Paul Konerko play first base. He is a Valley resident, but you know what? He belongs in a White Sox uniform, if you ask me. That's where all his success has been. That's where he won a World Series. He belongs in Chicago.
We all remember Edwin Jackson, don't we, folks? He threw
Absolutely.
a no-hitter for the Diamondbacks last year. He was moved to Chicago. Daniel Hudson came back. We've been getting to know both of those players. They face one another tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of pride on the line. A younger guy, and then a veteran that's still kind of young, if you will, in Edwin Jackson. So it's going to be interesting. There's always, man, I got to show that that our side got the better of the trade. No, their side got the better. So it should be awfully interesting tonight.
Excited to see what Edwin has to do. He's been traded a lot for a young player, so he's not harboring any sort of bitterness. Daniel Hudson certainly has been rolling last handful of starts. It's going to be a fun series, and also with Father's Day coming up, raising a ton of money with the Home Run Challenge tonight. Each home run hit raises $20,000 for prostate cancer research. Brad will explain when we return. By Gila River Casinos. Play slots with your Players Club card at any Gila River Casino. Win up to $20,000 instantly. Jack in the Box. Get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats. No blackout dates.
Well, a great atmosphere for baseball here at Chase Field. The roof is wide open, the first of three against the Chicago White Sox. You know, last night the D-backs with a pair of big home runs. Chris Young with a 2-run shot, and then Justin Upton providing all the fireworks with his bottom of the 10th inning home run. D-backs and their fans are hoping for more home runs tonight and Sunday on Father's Day as well. That's because Major League Baseball is teaming up this weekend for the Home Run Challenge. And tonight's game, if any D-back, any White Sox takes one up and out of the yard, $20,000 is going to be raised for prostate cancer research. And you can get involved as well. You can make a pledge and make that $20,000 even more per home run. You can make a pledge by calling 1-800-798-CURE or going to www.pcf.org. It's a great initiative by Major League Baseball, and of course the D-backs looking to go yard against a guy that they used to call their teammate Edwin Jackson. When we come back, we'll talk about these two. Who got the better of the deal, the White Sox or the D-backs? It's Major League Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Good to have Darren back. He's with Gracie. We'll see you in a bit.
And taking the bump against his old team. He rocketed through the White Sox system. Now, for the first time ever, they're in the other dugout, and he faces this lineup for the Chicago White Sox as penciled in by Ozzie Guillen. Juan Pierre really struggling this season, and especially of late, he wants to get it going. Alexi Ramirez is hot. So is Carlos Quentin. We know him as a Diamondback. So is Paul Konerko. A.J. Pierzynski on a road. Former Toronto Blue Jay Alex Rios. Gordon Beckham trying to get it going. Brent Morel is hitting. And we see Juan Pierre ready to lead things off. The veteran Juan Pierre. There's Ozzie Guillen. Manager of the year in the big leagues in 2005. Goes about it as only he can. Became a major league manager at 40 years old in 2004. And he was talking a lot today about this man who digs into the batter's box in Pierre. They defense up to the Diamondbacks for Pierre. We're underway. Glad to have you with us for a 3-game weekend set against the White Sox. Former White Sox Daniel Hudson making his 15th start of the season.
Yeah, probably feeling some butterflies, seeing some familiar faces over there in the other dugout. Now it's up to him to defeat them. And one way to defeat this Chicago White Sox lineup is to keep this guy off base. Juan Pierre creates havoc if he gets on. Needs to throw some strikes.
That one is over the outside corner, and it's a strike.
You want to face Quentin, Konerko, Pierzynski. You want to face those guys with the bases empty. Imperative for Daniel Hudson to take care of the top 2 hitters in the White Sox lineup.
Did he go? Yes, that is a strike over the outside corner. Couple of architects, by the way, in the same booth tonight.
How about that? Kenny Williams and Kevin Towers.
That's a good shot right there. Swing and a miss, something he never used to do, Juan Pierre, and still this year he's only done it 21 times. He goes down on strike. So far, so good for Hudson. Let's take a look at his defense as it works behind him. David Robleski and Associates sponsors it. Para Young, Upton, a rangy outfield. Roberts, Drew, Johnson, Miranda on the infield. The key there is Stephen Drew. Miguel Montero still battling those throws behind the plate. He is the man that is the battery mate. There's your range, though, in this outfield here at Chase Field. And that's what the White Sox, and particularly Ozzie Guillen, were speaking of in their research, saying, I know I've got to find a gap because you guys run it down. Alexi Ramirez can run it down, but he does so at shortstop.
Turned himself into a good, solid Major League shortstop, hadn't he?
Drops that bunt down and drops it down foul.
Tried to surprise the Diamondbacks. Ryan Roberts was way back, but he fouls it off. I'm sure Ozzie Guillen would probably like to see Alexi Ramirez go ahead and drive it in the gap.
Yeah, he's driven a few in the gap, probably to no one's surprise. He's got 17 doubles. He's got 6 long balls. That one is chopped foul. How about the feet over there?
Man, what a nice play over there. Let's check out who that is. That's Jeff Cox, the third base coach. He makes a nice play. And buddy Matt Williams could learn a few things from Jeff.
Well, and Jeff did it as if he knew he was planning on doing. As that one is a slider. That one dives down and out of the zone. Again, he's been throwing that pitch harder the last couple of outings. And when we say harder, I mean 88, 89 with that slider. Fastball, ground ball. You better hurry. Unable to make the play, Roberts.
And that's exactly what he did. He hurried. Had a little more time. Alexi Ramirez runs okay. He takes a big swing, so it takes him a little while to get out of the box. And you see, Ryan Roberts gets in a hurry, can't make the play. And a base runner here for the Chicago White Sox. Now some thunder coming to the plate in Carlos Quentin, the former D-back.
Great shot there, that swing of the delivery of Hudson. One of our local photographers. Well, we remember him well, don't we, folks? Even was around before I was able to sit in this chair. Coming out of Stanford, thunder in that bat, and it's to all over the ballpark. Carlos Quentin. A couple of years ago, before injuries, he was in the MVP discussion, deservedly so. And with the Diamondbacks, a lot of times, besides battling injuries, he battled himself. That's what they used to say.
And still does from time to time. That's just the way he's constructed. He's his own worst enemy sometime, but he has high expectations of himself as that one's fouled back.
He hits really well on the road. Really well on the road. That's when he's done most of his damage.
Don't want to throw too many pitches right there for Carlos Quentin. He doesn't miss those very often. Daniel Hudson got a big break there.
Quentin has a batting average a tad lower than the man on deck in Konerko, but if you put all of his numbers together, he is right there with Konerko and what he's contributing offensively. As that one runs in, a changeup. Kind of stayed at the belt.
Had Quentin out in front. There's the back-to-back duo. A lot of dynamite in that lineup. Paul Konerko grew up out here.
One and two the count. Buried that fastball in on his hands at 94 miles an hour. Kirk Gibson, speaking of Quentin before the game, remember Gibson as the bench coach here as Quentin came through the ranks, said the one thing I remember was how intense he is. And he said, you are not going to get any argument from me if you have that kind of intensity and drive.
Absolutely not. You love that.
Still works with that kind of intensity with Upton. Different type. Off the end of the bat. I think Justin's drive and intensity, you see it a little bit more. He's a little bit more external. Quentin grinding inside.
Oh, absolutely. Those insides are a bowl of spaghetti when he's struggling.
1-2 the count.
He's still a delightful young man. And a guy we miss over here in Arizona.
Outside 2-2 the count. If you really look at it, Quentin moved in the deal to Chicago that sent Chris Carter back here to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Carter included in the 6-7 player deal that brought Dan Hare into town. So if you really want to break it down a little bit more, Carlos Quentin was in that Dan Hare deal.
Now it's even worse.
2-2 the count. Changeup. How about that take?
Just missed. I think he was so fooled that he just couldn't swing. Daniel Hudson looking in like, where the heck do you want this thing? Looked like it may have dipped low. Well, according to Fox Tracks, it got the plate.
It looked low. I actually think, especially with a changeup.
Yeah, Angel Campos, his word is law. He said it wasn't. Ball
Runner
4.
goes. It is ball 4. Ramirez was on the move, so now Quentin, a solid at bat. When you look at Quentin, he's walked now 26 times this year. He's got a 370 on base. And now you want to look at some numbers, even though he's getting a bit longer in the tooth. Don't tell Paul Konerko that.
52 RBIs for Paul Konerko. That is 14 more than any Diamondback, and that would be Chris Young with 38.
The Twins quieted on a recent stop. They started this road trip in Minnesota, or the White Sox, I should say. They were quieted by the Twins, 4-1 and 1-0.
The suddenly surging Minnesota Twins.
There was a rain day in that as well. It was supposed to be a 3-game series. And Konerko looks at a changeup for strike 1. Paul was saying before the game, said the offer was flattering, and he said, I did my research. I spoke with Kirk Gibson on the telephone. I like the attitude that Kevin Towers said he was going to put into that locker room. He said, I was interested. He said, but to stay in Chicago for me was the best fit.
Yeah, that's where he belongs. That and a lot more money. That'll keep you. That'll make you stay put.
And then on the flip side, Ozzie Guillen was saying that I must not be. It's so funny how different managers present themselves. I must not be that bad of a manager. Guys like Paul Konerko are staying to play for me.
Right.
Said that today. In on the hands. High fly left field. Parra chasing. Toward the triangle. He's got room. Fires it in. They all know the arm by now. How far does it go away? Nice job, Hudson. But Paul Konerko, I think, in off the label a bit. I think it was in on the hand.
Oh, there's no question. He just missed it. It got in on him just enough. Pulls his hands in nicely. He just catches it on the label. And Parra has plenty of room to go back and make the play. And he just loved to show off that arm. So he went ahead and just launched it back into third base. 2 outs.
You know, we talk about Ozzie Guillen, a character as a manager, certainly. So is this man as a backstop, A.J. Pierzynski. And he's rolling. 7-game hitting streak, 11 hits in that time. And he takes a fastball that dives away. And if anybody could play the I know what you're going to do, so I'm going to outthink you game with Hudson, it's this man, his catcher. We probably showed him a lot of the ranks in spring training and along the way. Fouls that one off.
What's your theory, Darren? Are you a buyer or a seller when it comes to a team playing better or guys hitting better because the weather's getting warmer?
I think there's something to it.
Do you think it has anything to do maybe with the Chicago White Sox or maybe the Boston Red Sox suddenly surging? Maybe the Minnesota Twins.
And I'll tell you why I believe in that theory. Number one, I think that you lived that theory as a player in the Midwest. But Paul Konerko, without being asked, was saying to me before the game, when I explained to him that the roof may be open and, you know, the Diamondbacks trying to invite a little bit of the elements inside, which is a good thing, he said, I don't care if it's 115. He said, because what we've been going through in the cold,
30 degrees,
I need some heat. That's exactly what he said. Well, he missed his spot, but still gets the ground ball. Pierzynski spikes his bat, And no first inning troubles for Hudson. That has been a storyline. He cleans things up as we walk off with the right-hander for the Diamondbacks. Standard, the Diamondbacks trail just about every inning, but the final at bat against the San Francisco Giants. How about getting it going early and maybe grabbing a lead against the White Sox? Here is the starting lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks against Edwin Jackson. It's brought to you by Southwest. Kelly Johnson, Stephen Drew, Justin Upton really rolling, including the walk-off last night. Young is hot. Montero, Juan Miranda, Ryan Roberts cooling just a bit. Gerardo Parra on a roll, and Daniel Hudson can hit. Pitcher, he can hit. 27-year-old right-hander. He's been moved from L.A. to Tampa, from Tampa to Detroit, from Detroit to Arizona, and now to Chicago. Hard-throwing Edwin Jackson. As he goes over the outside corner, 94, strike one. 14th start of the year for Edwin. As that one is lifted up into the seats. Last year he made 21 starts for the Diamondbacks.
And the foul ball went all the way to the upper deck and came all the way down and hit Gibby in the back.
It really got Gibby?
Got our manager.
1-2 the count.
Did you see Gibby last night? Jumping in the pile and all that?
I did see that. I saw that highlight. He got in there and mixed it up.
Yeah. He was banging around in there with the guys.
He was saying before the game when he got out there, he looked around and thought, what am I doing out here?
Watch this. And that's the end. Up, beer spilled, and well, that's not the one that got Gibby in the back.
But still, that was a not so good play either.
Yeah, that was a White Sox fan spilling his beer. Now he's got to go spend $4 more.
Oh, so wet. Gibby threw it. That's what that was. Gibby throwing the ball back to him.
Yeah, that must be what it was.
So they dropped the ball from 4 feet away?
Evidently.
2-2. Swing and a miss over the top. Well, we can talk about how hard he throws, but then there's also that slider that he throws, and there it is. Defensively, let's take a look at the Chicago White Sox. Pierre, Rios, Carlos Quentin, Morel, Ramirez, Gordon Beckham. They rave about him at second. Paul Konerko is at first. A.J. Pierzynski, the battery mate for Edwin. And for Kelly Johnson, that's 84 strikeouts this year.
And he's starting to struggle again, unfortunately.
Steven takes a fastball.
Yeah, Kelly's been riding that roller coaster, and it was on that upswing for a while, but the last 10 games or so, it's been a struggle for him again.
You're exactly right. He's 8 for his last 48. As that one is low, including in that strikeout, so below 170. Let's hope he can find it again. 2-0 the count. Stephen Drew. Drew 2 of 14 in the Giants series. Hot shot, base hit, right field. Boy, he turned 96 around like it was nothing. We did see some greatness from Edwin Jackson, but we also saw nights where there was solid contact like this from Drew.
There was a couple or three starts for Edwin Jackson that he got hit very hard. But really, for the most part, I thought he threw the ball very well as an Arizona Diamondback. And this is just a ringing bullet right through the right side.
What do we recollect, Gracie? Is his fastball, even though it's electric velocity-wise, is it fairly straight?
It's fairly straight, and there's such a thing as some guys hide the ball real well. Some guys give you a pretty good look at it, and Edwin kind of gives you a pretty good look at it. And even though it's in the mid to upper 90s, it seems like guys get a pretty decent look at it.
One thing we need to make clear about Edwin as we see his numbers with the Diamondbacks, there was a time when folks were moved out of this organization in trades and for different reasons. As far as Edwin goes, none of it was attitude related. None of it was him contributing to what was a negative clubhouse.
Great
Edwin
guy.
Was a true professional. And I can't say that
guy.
enough.
One of my favorite. Didn't get to spend enough time with him, to be honest with you. Just a wonderful young man. Raised militarily, if you will, and boy, you could tell. So respectful to others. An awfully talented pitcher.
Oh, you bet. Might always be raw. It'll be interesting to watch his career. Looks at a slider, does Upton. He walked him off last night. You talked about Kirk Gibson coming out. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen it by now. Justin, one of the better interleague hitters in his young career. And it's interesting, you start throwing the Red Sox and the Yankees, teams that the Diamondbacks have seen regularly. The bigger the team, the better he hits.
He hit awfully well against a very good Giants staff these last 3 days.
And Upton as well. In that Giants series, besides the walk-off, 7 of 13. 2 doubles, a homer, a couple of RBIs. On 2-1. Fouls it off. He didn't foul off last night's.
First pitch he sees. Come on out, guys. Come on out, guys. Unfortunately, we didn't see it, but as he was going to first base, he just kind of looked back at his dugout and kind of, come on out, guys.
He called him out. I like
that.
that.
Come on out. This one's gone.
Since May 28, he's got 30 hits. He's hitting .429. And he is really on a roll. A balk is called on Edwin Jackson. And he's curious what he did.
Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire, called a balk. And Edwin wants to know what he did. I have to admit, I didn't see it. Yeah, he started and stopped. Absolutely, he did. That's a good call. Joe West had it as well at second base. He flinched, but before he came set, that's a good call.
AT Pierzynski was interacting with the dugout at the time. And he was looking in there and then waving the dugout off after the balk was called. He waved him off. We may never know what that was about. But I'm thinking that if I'm a pitcher, that throws me off a bit with my catcher waving to the dugout as I'm getting ready to come set and throw home.
Possibly.
I'm not sure if he was getting his signs.
And watch him just kind of start and flinch a little bit. There, right there. That's it. That's all it takes right there.
I was surprised to see that amount of help Pierzynski getting from the dugout. Really curious why that is. Upton lines it into center field after the balk. It's an RBI for Justin Upton as he stays white hot. 36 runs batted in this year. 3 batted in on the homestand. And folks, he is 11 of his last 20. 11 for his last 20. 1-0.
Takes a breaking ball on 3-2 and just rips it into left center field. Alex Rios gets it on a hop, but Stephen Drew just runs way, way too well. And as you said, Justin Upton just picking up where he left off.
So an RBI for Upton, now 7 in his last 10 with runners in scoring position. And both he and Konerko right now are two of the hottest hitters in baseball. They stand next to one another. As it's fired over, sending Upton back. Now with regard to base stealing, folks have been doing it a lot against Pierzynski.
Yeah, he struggles to throw. Good hitter, but he struggles to throw.
And Ozzie Guillen saying in a recent article that Pierzynski needs to own up and throw better.
And it's a lot like Miguel Montero this year. Miguel Montero and A.J. Pierzynski, they're in there because they can hit and they can drive in runs. They are offensive catchers, no question. They have struggled. Well, Pierzynski struggled his entire career throwing the baseball. Montero has struggled this year throwing the baseball. A lot of throwing errors. Another one last night led to a San Francisco Giant run. But they can hit.
So we will see. And Edwin Jackson not doing a good job either helping out Pierzynski this year. I think it's probably a combo. When Edwin's been on the mound, 14 stolen bases against, 1 thrown out. So we're saying all this because at some point you got to think Upton's on the move. Swing and a miss. That good slider dips down. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, that was a dandy there. That wasn't that spinning slider that Upton smashed into center field. That was a fabulous one from Edwin Jackson.
So then there's the story of Young offensively. While Upton has been stealing the headlines, Young homered yesterday as well earlier. And he's hitting 6 in a row. He's hitting .450 in the last week. Swing and a miss. Not that time. Not that pitch. Went back to the slider. So it's been a slider, strikeout, then a couple of singles, and another slider, strikeout.
Yeah, kind of all or nothing here for Edwin Jackson. 2 dominant strikeouts on Kelly Johnson and Chris Young, but also in between a couple of bullets off the bat of Stephen Drew and Justin Upton. And now Montero going to get a chance here with 2 outs.
They talk about Miguel's success this year. 8 homers, 36 RBIs, slugging almost 500. 3 hits, including a big home run in that San Francisco series. Edwin still throws about 98 over to first base, by the way.
That's a first baseman's nightmare. Randy Johnson throwing over to first base. Oh, my gosh. 100 mile an hour with movement.
Break in your brand new mid, huh?
Goodness. Break your brand new mid.
Swing and a miss. 96, strike 1. Edwin, one of the hardest throwers in the game. But he's not alone because Daniel Hudson, his foe, is one of the hardest throwers in the National League. Miguel, 322 in his last 24 games. Driven in a run per game as that one is high. Hey, and don't forget, anytime the Diamondbacks score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell gives away 3 free tacos with a large drink purchase from 4 to 6 the following day. You see a high of 96, a low of 86. Fouls that one off. Into the seats it goes. He's ridden the roller coaster a bit this year, hasn't he? Been pretty streaky, Montero.
Yeah, he's swinging it much better now.
Had a time when he went for about a month into mid-May where he hit 180 for almost a month worth of games.
And really the Diamondbacks have, well, pretty much a lineup full of those kind of guys that ride hot and cold. And when you get about 3 or 4 of them together, well, they start winning games, and we've seen that. And we saw in April when they really struggled all at the same time.
They can go both ways.
Absolutely.
Kirk Gibson talking a lot today about situational hitting again. I know he talked about it in the postgame last night, reading about it. But really going into it again today about approach and preparation. Trying to do too much.
I'm sure he loved seeing what Justin Upton did with a guy on second base. Just take a pitch and drive it right where it came from. You don't have to pull it out of the ballpark 450 feet. Nothing wrong with hitting a ground ball to the center fielder.
See that 7-game hitting streak Gibson saying, I need my guys to continue to learn it's okay to go 0-2 sometimes. 2-2. Pounds that one into the dirt, and it's a foul ball. What does he mean by that, by the way? I think I have an idea, but when Kirk Gibson says, I need my hitters not to be afraid to let it go to 0-2, what does that mean?
Well, it means a lot of hitters, even at the big league level, they fear striking out. They get embarrassed. So what they do is go up there and just force the action and end up taking a defensive swing at the ball and hitting a little ground ball to the shortstop or something like that. Well, at least I didn't strike out. Well, that's not what Kirk Gibson wants. He wants you to go up there, and even if you have to take a tough pitch on them, he doesn't want you hitting a pitch.
Drives that one to right. I would imagine he likes that. Up against the wall. Look at Justin Upton run. Around to home he goes. In there, standing up, speed on display. Timely hitting on display. I would imagine that, what Gracie is talking about as well, is what his manager likes. 2-0.
Sometimes it takes the sixth pitch of the at-bat to get a mistake, and that's what happened. Miguel Montero hung around, and that's what Kirk Gibson's talking about. You don't have to hit the very first pitch. Sometimes it might be the sixth or seventh pitch that you get the mistake. Then, when you get that mistake, you don't miss it. Justin Upton running all the way easily, but talking about Miguel Montero, he's in there because of his bat. There is no question he's one of the best hitting catchers in the National League, along with Brian McCann, and this year, Yadier Molina. Greg Schulte and I talked about it last night, Darren. Wouldn't shock me at all if Miguel Montero is playing here in the Midsummer Classic.
Has to be in the discussion. Absolutely has to be. The breaking ball. That's a curveball. It misses low. He has had a fine offensive year. Is still a work in progress as a catcher. But the key is for Miguel, he's working at it. He doesn't just take it for granted. Upton, boy, that was fun. It's fun to watch Justin and Steven run. They're sitting side by side.
Boy, Justin, for such a big young man, he can still pick him up and put him down. He is a very large kid. There's a lot of high school kids that he probably played baseball against, and probably some very thankful football players that were really glad that he wasn't a tailback. Can you imagine him coming around on a sweep with that speed and that size?
Father Manny was a football player at Norfolk State, and you can see where he gets it from. Manny's a big man, his dad.
Yes,
great athlete. BJ not quite as big. BJ a little smaller than Justin and his dad. Still a great athlete, BJ Upton.
I think BJ's even faster than Justin.
He can play some center, huh?
Yes, he can. And he can fly.
1-2 the count on Juan Miranda. Chops that one foul. In front of that White Sox dugout. So you see these two teams going toe-to-toe. It hasn't happened very often. There was a series back in 03 here at Chase. Arizona won 2 of 3. And then there was a series in 05 at the Cell. And Arizona won 2 of 3 in that one. Story really for Chicago is they were awful to start the year.
They had some leads early in the year where they just could not bring them home. They couldn't find anybody to close a ball game. I mean, they had Matt Thornton trying to close ball games. That didn't work early in the season. Ozzie handed it to just about anybody and everybody. Chris Sale was another guy, left-handed, that struggled in that spot.
Swing and a miss. So the former Diamondback gets knocked around a bit.
And strikes out the side. Strange.
Gather in Phoenix for one spectacular night. Fox will bring you every thrilling moment of the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game in this ballpark. It's Tuesday, July 12th. Live coverage starts at 5, and it's only on Fox. It's getting close now, isn't it, folks?
Looking forward to it.
Really getting close. Couple of road trips for the Diamondbacks, and then when they come home after 2 more road trips, the All-Stars will be here. And it will be a lot of fun, and this city will shine brightly. 2-0 the score. Daniel Hudson with a little bit of room to work with as Rios takes inside. It's another guy known for having a very good glove in center field. He is struggling with the bat in his hand right now. 0 for his last 11. That one is nubbed foul.
Left a change up in the zone, but it was so much off speed. All Rios could do is just cue it foul. I mean, that's center cut, splitting the plate. You don't want to throw those change ups up there if you can help it.
One of the better center fielders in the game as he rolls that one out to Stephen Drew. Fires it on across. Stephen gaining a bit of a reputation and respect. Longtime Major League shortstop Ozzie Guillen with some high praise for a man who he does not see very much in Stephen Drew. Ozzie's saying, first of all, the first thing Ozzie mentioned out of respect was the manager and the coaching staff for the Diamondbacks. He said, if you can't get better with guys like Don Baylor and Kirk Gibson and Matt Williams, then you're not meant to get better. That's quoting Ozzie. And he said they've got themselves a shortstop as well. Second thing he talked about. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Gordon Beckham. Beckham had 1 hit and 7 at bats in that stop in Minnesota.
A lot of talent in this young man, Gordon Beckham. Just hadn't gotten on one of those streaks yet that they expect from him. I mean, he's got some power, he's got some athletic ability. They just think he's going to be a very good player. But he's made him wait a little longer than they wanted.
High fly ball well struck. Chris Young is going back. He's got room and he puts it away. Beckham, the #1 pick out of the University of Georgia. Comes from a great athletic family.
Brother, a great soccer player.
Defensively, where is no, that's actually a different guy. It's not David.
Oh.
I mean, it's a striking name. He was a star quarterback. Gordon Beckham was. You know, a lot of positives, but no, he's not David's brother. That one is outside. Actually, can't see why you'd even say that.
Good to have you back, Darren.
1-0 the count to Brent Morel. Change up and a dandy. Morel leaked out.
Morel, if you talk to Ozzie Guillen, he'll tell you there's a Gold Glove in his future. He is a very good defensive third baseman. He's starting to get more and more looks now. And the offense they think is eventually going to come around, but he can flat out play the hot corner. What's going on there with the Blues Brothers?
Wow, a lot going on there on the board. Baxter climbing up. The 1-2. A little slider chopped out to Stephen Drew. Morel up the line, and he is erased. Rios, Beckham, Morel, all disposed of by Hudson. Ramon Castro, even though we like him. And
yes, we do.
He is television left, or it's not from Eric Young, who's in your shot. It's from, well, a friend of the show, Big Adam Dunn. It's our Geico quote. The interleague thing is just awful. It ruins everything. Big Adam Dunn, well, Chicago White Sox.
Don't mince words there, Big Adam. What's going on?
Dunn will probably, outside a pinch hitter, not play in this series. You have Konerko doing what he is doing. Dunn will.
An answer, no, folks.
So do you like the Big Adam Dunn designated hitter?
I like Big Adam Dunn, but I do not like the designated hitter.
36929. A, that means yes, I like the DH. B, that means no, I don't. He's had a tough year, hasn't he? Surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a guy that just mail in 30 or more home runs, 40 or more home runs, but not this year. He hasn't taken to the south side of Chicago very well at all. Starting to come around a little bit, starting to warm up with the weather a little bit, but we won't see him much other than those big old telephone poles going up there and trying to hit one out of the park late in a ball game.
And Ian talking about getting him some work in the outfield, getting him moving around, probably not until the Colorado series, saying that in all likelihood he will not receive a start in this series. We love him. I mean, Diamondbacks fans enjoyed him when he was here. He gave this team everything he had. Ryan Roberts off the end of the bat. That's a funky little base hit, but he'll take it, hustling on around. Juan Pierre, not much with regard to an arm, shoots it on back in. If it's possible to pull a Texas leaguer, Roberts just did it, and it's a double.
Yeah, he got a breaking ball right off the end of the bat. You can see right off the very end of the bat, but he puts it in play with 2 strikes, and only good things can happen if you just give it a chance. Juan Pierre cannot throw very well, so a stand-up double to lead off the second for Ryan Roberts.
So he is in scoring position, and for Roberts, you just saw that is double number 11 on the year to go along with those 10 home runs.
And in this situation, folks, if you're Gerardo Parra, you don't necessarily have to try to move the guy over to third base. Just go up there and hit, because you got your pitcher on deck. You're not going to give yourself up and move the guy over to third base and trust Daniel Hudson to do the job. Now, Daniel Hudson's an above-average hitting pitcher. I think if you're Gerardo Parra up here, you just go up and have your at-bat. You don't necessarily have to try to pull the ball on the ground. Go ahead and do your thing.
2-0 the count, Parra. Now, Parra seeing regular assignments in left field, and deservedly so. Now it usually goes hand in hand. He's hitting. He's hit safely in 8 straight. That's a season high for him, hitting .321 in his last 8 games.
Good fastball to the outside corner.
I mean, just grabbed it. Just nicked that corner. Now, we were talking about these White Sox and their 11-22 start. They were the worst in baseball in those first 33. Their save percentage was less than 50%. You were mentioning that.
And then when they handed over to Sergio Santos, the former first-round draft pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks, he's now closing for us again. Well, then their bats went into the deep slumber, and they couldn't score any runs. So Ozzie was just fit to be tied. He didn't know. Well, Ozzie's always fit to be tied, but well, he didn't know what to do. But boy, they've started to come together, and Cleveland's come back to the pack in the American League Central as well. So now, I mean, don't even think for 1 second about counting out these Chicago White Sox.
3-2 the count. Chicago starting play at 5.5 back. The Detroit Tigers will lose to Colorado unless there's a miracle, because it's 12-1 Colorado on top. And you talk about becoming human, Cleveland. The other team that became human and then plummeted was Kansas City. The first month they were right there too, and Ned Yost and the guys have disappeared. Chases a changeup.
Spoiled a good 3-2 pitch there. Too close to take. And he'll continue. Edwin Jackson about to throw his 40th pitch. Diamondbacks have really made him work hard.
And the other team that's interesting in that Central Division And they've got a long way to go, so I say it very carefully. But the Twins have 11 of their last 13.
Yeah, they're playing good baseball. They're winning again here this evening against the Padres.
Swing and a miss. The strikeouts stacking up. Well, the two pitchers that were traded for one another, along with a very key piece we'll speak of in a moment, Edwin Jackson. And since the trade, this is what both have done. Edwin pitching in the American League, obviously. I think the key for me with Hudson is pitching for the first time full-time in the big leagues. That's what he's done.
And also, I think Daniel can, I think a lot of people say Daniel could even have more wins with a little luck here and there. Big swing.
0-1 the count. There was one other piece in that deal. We'll speak of him in a bit. A young man by the name of David Holmberg, who is a discussion.
Well, you're going to have to talk about Mr. Holmberg a little bit later, Darren, because it's time for the Fox Sports Arizona Fan Fest word of the game delivered by the UPS store. Today's word is swap. Go to foxsportsarizona.com to enter, and you can win tickets to the MLB All-Star Fan Fest from July 8th through the 12th.
Swap, like these two guys were swapped for one another. That one dives low. Swap.
Now tell us about Mr. Holmberg.
Well, he's turning out to be a talented young man. He was the third piece in that deal that was also Edwin Jackson for Daniel Hudson and minor leaguer. I mean, you know how it's presented in the big newswire stories. 1 and 2. That pitch dives low. Well, he's dealing. At South Bend, his last 4 starts, Mr. Holmberg, David Holmberg, has really been on a roll. The young left-hander, he's actually a left-handed pitcher, which for me makes a big difference in the story. He is on quite of a roll, 27 innings in a row, a scoreless inning streak. In his last 4 starts, it's been fabulous. As that one is a chopper, middle of the diamond, charging, fielding, firing is Beckham. And so Hudson is erased. Daniel still has 8 hits this year, but that time they got him. Runner goes to third, and Roberts. We love the Sandlot. We love Futures Field. Yeah, we got a big kid up there. I like it. Racing around the bases.
He's done. He's just going on home.
That one is low.
That's how it's done, all you little guys. I'm done.
He did take over, didn't he?
That's it. That's a great spot up there, the Sandlot area.
That one is chopped out to Eric Young. Nice job.
Nice play, Eric Young.
You know who that big kid up there reminded me of? That big kid.
Big Adam Dunn, really.
I mean, we can't get enough of him.
We love him.
Talk about all those homers. We know he's struggling. But this is a guy, Adam Dunn. Only Albert Pujols has hit more homers since 04. Back to the screen it goes.
There he is. Yeah, there's the Sandlot version of Big Adam Dunn.
Get out there. Come on.
I think that might be the only action that Big Adam Dunn's going to get. He might just head out to the Sandlot.
1 and 2 the count. Into the dirt, kicks away, but not far enough.
Nice play there by Brzezinski. And this had wild pitch written all over it, and he closed the wickets down, blocked it just enough to keep Ryan Roberts at third base.
2 and 2 the count. There is the third run of the ball game for the Diamondbacks, should they drive it in. Into the dirt it goes. Goodness.
Boy, no, that was a fastball in the dirt.
You can't anticipate blocking a fastball.
No.
A breaking ball.
You're fortunate here. You're looking for a fastball away. You get it down and in. Man, somehow, some way, Brzezinski was able to keep that from being a wild pitch as well.
Kelly struck out back in the first inning. Edwin works out of the windup with that runner at third. Swing and a miss. Johnson strikes out again. Look out, kids. Big Adam Dunn's coming to hang out with you. Here he comes. Emailing, tweeting. What's Kachinko? Well, you can find out and learn how you can play right here at Chase Field going to the interactive kiosk. It's near section 111 during the regular season home games. As you can see, there's always a winner. And it's brought to you by our good friends and partners with Gila River Casinos as we go back upstairs into the batting cage of the ballpark for the youngsters. But the best part about that, there is Futures Field, the batting cage behind. There's a bunch of instructors qualified.
They do a great job, I agree.
That teach the game.
Nothing but positive reinforcement.
Sean Payton looking in over the shoulder of that young man.
He's terrific out there. Stephen Drew been busy this evening.
On in time, so Hudson continues to use that fastball, bury it in when he needs to, including against a pitcher. And by the way, we talked about velocity. These are two of the hardest throwers in the game, and I think the word is starting to be out, though it's a lower arm angle for Hudson. He is at 9th in baseball. He's the hardest thrower in the National League among starting pitchers. Yes,
right.
Among starting pitchers. 0-1 the count to Juan Pierre. Bouncing ball. There's Steven again. Wow, what a play by Drew.
First 10 hitters from the Chicago White Sox, 5 have grounded out to Stephen Drew. He has been busy this evening.
This one was at another level, though.
And this is a guy flying down the line in Juan Pierre. That's a really nice play by Stephen Drew. Again. Troy Tulowitzki gets all the Gold Glove attention, but this guy, in my opinion, is a Gold Glove caliber defender in Stephen Drew.
Bouncing ball out to short. Ryan Roberts plays it at the belt on across.
About as easy an inning you'll ever see.
Stephen Drew, a fine job at short. When we come back, Stephen Drew will lead things off. Mr. Extra Base Hit. Chase Field. Edwin Jackson completing his warm-up tosses. He is ready to roll. Scotty Geyer piloting up top. Beautiful shot from the helicopter.
Best in the business.
And here is Stephen Drew. Singleton scored back in the first inning against the 27-year-old right-hander Edwin Jackson. That pitch is low, 1-0 the count.
That's the first pitch of the third inning, and that is his 51st pitch here this evening.
I remember that occurring fairly regularly, though, for Edwin.
Well, there's no hitter. he threw a bunch.
Ribbon to left field, and the play is made. Backtracking Juan Pierre. Justin Upton gets ready to go to work. A little bit more on Justin, and I would imagine something tied with his manager. We bring Brad in. Brad, what do you have?
Well, today, Kirk Gibson speaking in glowing terms of the way that Justin Upton has kind of changed his game around. I think it's safe to say that Gibby sees a lot of himself in Jay Up. Both were predestined to be superstars. You know, Kirk Gibson was labeled the next Mickey Mantle, and so he told Justin Upton at the start of the season he doesn't care if he's a superstar. Just play your game. History will decide what they think of you. And he says everything he's doing is meshing together. He's got a great routine right now. He's eating right, and we see the results on the field.
That one has popped up to the right side. I know, Brad, you were in there today when Gibson was again reckoning back to his charge out to join the dog pile around home plate. He did remind us that he was still in his 50s, as he said. What am I doing out there? That was a funny moment, wasn't it?
It was great, and he said, you know, he'd been thinking about it the two previous games because the D-backs in the bottom of the ninth in both the first two games against the Giants had a chance to walk off, and so he was, you know, it was premeditated, but like I said, once he was out there in the dog pile, he sprinted back and got his notes and hustled into the locker room, and he said that was a lot of fun. He never had a chance to do that, so
I thought it was
very cool, yeah.
0-2 the count.
Yeah. Can't you just see Bobby Cox or Tony La Russa doing that? Not really. Still a kid at heart. Still loves to win.
Still a ball player at heart.
Yeah.
Time is called, and Edwin, a little bit of a softball mimic as he goes through the motions. He's a starter in Tampa Bay, starter in Detroit, a starter with the White Sox. Of course, the starter here with the Diamondbacks. He made his Major League debut, you might remember, Edwin Jackson, back in 2003 when he defeated Randy Johnson. September the 9th, he was a Dodger, went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, and beat Randy 4-1. '96 fouled off.
Got him to chase one up and out of the zone. You got to have a quick bat to hit 96 above the zone like that.
Oh my goodness, the Disney girls are back. Into the dirt it goes. 2-2 the count. Hey, don't forget about homers. We know Father's Day coming up, it's a good thing, but also it's a Fulton Homes homer. You see, every time a Diamondback player hits a homer this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. So that is a good thing. Breaking ball flips it up into the seats. Now, let me ask you, and I ask just because I think it, so be careful here, folks, when I do this. Was that just a straight protect there?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was probably fooled, and he just up there trying to foul it off and get another pitch.
And that's a sign of a good thing, right? Of a
Absolutely.
developing hitter.
And now he's worked it to 3-2.
He's really testing our Fox tracks. As we peek in from the sandlot up above. 3-2. Fastball. We'll do it again. 3-2 the count. We're talking about Upton. He and Konerko both rolling since the end of May. Konerko's hitting .440. Upton's hitting .430 since May the 28th. Breaking ball, fights it off, dumps it into left field. And I still can't help but go back to that.
I'm glad you did.
Interesting breaking ball he spoiled earlier.
Glad you did. By spoiling that breaking ball, he gets a hanger right in the center of the zone. And by spoiling the really good one a couple pitches prior, that led to that. By not striking out, by just shanking it foul, he got a mistake and then he didn't miss it. That's when you're hot.
Does it also mean when you're hot and your head's not moving light that you're mechanically pretty sound as well?
No question. We talked about it last night. I think somehow, some way, a really good relationship has developed with Justin Upton and Don Baylor, his hitting coach. That's a very trusted voice for Justin Upton right now. He was one of the great hitters of all time, an MVP. He was my manager. Loved playing him. I wish he was my hitting coach. Maybe I'd have done a little better.
Popped up, easing back under it is Beckham. And so Upton, who has been hot, has to retreat back to first base. How hot, you ask? That's in the last 9 games, nearly 500. But look at all the crooked numbers under doubles and extra base hits. And raised his average to almost 300.
Exactly. He's sitting right now at 296.
Last 5 games, 12 of 21. A lot of numbers we've given you in the last couple of minutes. They're all really good for Justin. And I think for Upton, we've watched him, you and I both, and you folks at home, since he started to play regularly as a teenager in 2007. I think the key will be 2 things: health, and when the valleys come, as that one has popped up, Montero, making sure the valleys aren't too deep when the valleys do come.
That's exactly right, and that's been an issue for Justin in the past. The peaks are very high, but the valleys have been way too low. And he's starting to make those valleys a little more manageable. And that's when he's going to take off. He's always been a good player. But I think, Justin, it's time for him to be a fabulous player. And we're starting to see those signs. And also, I think you have to understand that he's still a very young man at 23 years old, but he's had a lot of voices in his major league career in his ear. He's had a lot of hitting coaches, a lot of managers. It was a revolving door there for a while.
1-1 the count.
But I think Don Baylor is a guy that he trusts and a guy that he can improve with.
Bouncing ball, Beckham with a flip. Nice play. Had to go an awful long way, but he cleans things up. Upton continues to stay hot. question. I'm told it's a good one. I mean a real good one. It's brought to you by AT. Who hit the longest home run in Chase Field history? That's the question. And how far did it go?
Well, I think I know the answer, and it's disputed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's, I'm not going to say it, but I know who I think it is. And I think it's more than once Mark Reynolds. But it's not the answer.
See, I thought it was David Ross.
Well, David Ross did hit a very, very long home run here. And it might be one of the longest ones in the history. It's not the longest, but it was off me.
Well, I'd forgotten about that.
But it went a long ways.
High fly ball. Carlos Quentin popped up. Stephen Drew is there.
Daniel Hudson just buried a fastball in on the fists of Carlos Quentin and got an easy pop-up.
One hit so far.
Just a little scratch infield hit by Alexi Ramirez in the first inning. Watch this fastball run right in on the hands and just eats up Quentin.
Well, you can only hope.
Yeah.
You can only
I
hope.
like that.
What are they, tied at 1 right now? Third inning, tied at 1. Third inning. That series.
It's a good rivalry.
It's in Oakland, right, that series? That one is fouled off. Paul Konerko, who has been one of the finest hitting first basemen. As you can see, Baxter, boy, he's such a trickster.
Watch out, little girl. He's been known to put a hand buzzer in there.
Yeah, you got to sign your shirt. There you go.
Yeah.
Manhandling.
Well, he probably turned that kid around and put a sign that said "Kick me" on the back of his shirt.
That's exactly right. That's a good call.
Knowing Baxter. He did that to me the other day. I had males, females, kids alike all just coming up and kicking me. And Baxter got me.
Oh, Konerko with a foul ball. So 1-2 the count. When you go back the last 7+ years, Konerko has played more games at first than anyone, has more hits than anyone. He's got more than 1,000 hits, more homers than anyone. He is just, and for my money, with the Prince fielders and the sluggers that play the position around the game, Ryan Howard, at times he gets overlooked. Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah.
Oh, he's still playing? Oh, okay. How's he doing? Well, take a look at his numbers.
Exactly.
Try to remember him. 320 this season. He's played long enough to move into one of the 2 big lockers for the veterans that visit here at Chase Field. Just got a piece. Looked like a changeup there.
Even though he's a big slugger, he still has the ability to foul off those tough pitches like that and survive for another pitch. And that's all a guy like him needs sometimes.
It was June of 1994. He was the Dodgers' #1 pick out of Chaparral High School here locally in Scottsdale. Didn't get the call.
And still, if you ever want to have some fun, look up his minor league numbers with the Dodgers. They're ridiculous. And that missed inside.
Oh boy, Grace, you're right. You mean like in Albuquerque, 127 runs batted in?
Exactly.
Swing and a miss. Stuck with the changeup. Threw him a full count changeup. You had an old teammate by the name of Greg Maddox that used to do it like a safe cracker. It's a gutsy pitch.
Exactly. A fastball in on 2-2. You get to 3-2. You can see just how far out in front Paul Konerko is. There's the changeup. It's beautifully executed by Hudson. Boy, Hudson brought his A game thus far.
Against the team that developed him and then moved him to acquire Edwin Jackson. Changeup is low to A.J. Pierzynski. The veteran grounded to short. Hudson has moved beyond any sort of first inning struggles. Did that quite easily as he pitches here in the 4th.
Yeah, Hudson making it look awfully easy through 4.
1 hit allowed, the second hitter of the ball game. That's it. Who hit the longest home run in Chase Field history. Well, Big Adam Dunn, we're told. 504 feet September against Colorado. Here it is. Lyndon Rush. And home run number 40 for Adam Dunn.
There was a guy named Richie Sexton that hit one much, much further than that. So, sorry, folks, that's not correct.
I mean, we love Adam Dunn. We want to make that clear. But according to
that must
Gracie,
be that same website you use for the distance.
No,
that's always wrong.
They don't go back to 2008. I think the guys in the truck are just kind of making things up tonight.
I mean, that was a bomb.
Right.
But Richie Sexton's was further.
Are you sure, though?
Oh, yeah.
I'm told Big Adam Dunn's was 1 foot further.
Well,
I'm told that home run was 504 feet. That's just what I was told.
Well, they lied to you.
So 1 out. Here's Ryan Roberts.
Remember it's still talked about the Richie Sexton home run. He hit his own face.
I understand that was 503 feet on April 26, 2004. Big Adam Dunn's 1 foot further.
That's a shame.
So that is accurate. And I double checked it according to our good friends with HitTracker.com. That's accurate.
Great website, but incorrect a lot.
The 2-1. Bouncing ball, foul ball. Just to let you guys in a little bit behind the scenes. And we like to do it occasionally. You know, we kid about the trivia questions and we have a little fun with the guys, and they're good sports about it. Well, when we get it tonight, there was a decided edge and defensiveness from the truck about that question.
Okay.
They're a little upset that we would even question that. The 2-2. Bouncing ball. Look at Beckham. Nice play as Roberts is erased.
Very nice play there by Gordon Beckham. Going to the backhand side. And the guys in the truck will be just fine.
Here's Gerardo Parra. Parra struck out back in the second inning. Now, they'll all be going further than 504 feet at the home run derby. Let's just get them out of here. And you'll hit one more than 500 in the celebrity softball game. Swing and a miss.
Bad chance of that.
Really?
Really.
Now, who's on your team? Can you let us into any secrets?
Do not know. I couldn't tell you one teammate.
Maybe MC Hammer?
I don't know.
About Huey Lewis?
I don't know. I don't know.
1-1 the count.
I wish I could tell you. Couldn't tell you who my coach is. Couldn't tell you anything.
We need to promote it. Can you find us out?
I suppose I could.
What about maybe Justin Bieber?
Well, I've called him out.
Parra lines that one to center field, and there to make the play is Rios.
But just like about everything around here, nobody tells me anything.
I mean, what about, I don't know, Ludacris?
I don't know.
League Baseball All-Star Game history are going head-to-head to determine the most memorable. Go to MLB.com/moments and vote now for your favorite. Watch the 2011 All-Star Game on Fox, live from Chase Field, July 12th at 5. So Alex Rios to lead things off against Daniel Hudson, who has been dynamic tonight. Against a team that traded him away, the changeup just missed. 1-0 the count to Rios, who grounded out to short and did so back in the second inning. Mark Grace, Brad Stanky down in the field. I'm Darren Sutton. Glad to have you with us tonight. There's that man again, Stephen Drew. So here is Beckham.
Second baseman, Gordon Beckham.
2-0 is the score. Still haven't figured out who your celebrities are, huh, that you're playing with?
Well, I've just been handed a note.
Adamant?
Well, no, not Adamant. Maybe back when Steve Stone was pitching in Los Angeles in 1980 All-Star Game, maybe Adamant, but no.
Billy Idol.
No, not Billy Idol either. You're going straight 80s on us tonight, I see.
1-1 the count to Gordon Beckham. Fouls it back.
How about Jenny Finch? She's gonna pitch for the team I'm on.
So you're done.
Jenny Finch.
Oh, on your team.
On my I don't want to face.
Okay,
No.
you're now done.
I don't want to get embarrassed. So Jenny Finch is on my team.
Okay. Swing and a miss, a changeup, and Beckham chased down.
Well, he is just dealing so far, Daniel Hudson. My goodness. Changeup just dives.
So 2 outs out of Cal Poly. Brent Morrell, White Sox #3 pick in 08. Looks at a slider. And again, that slider is getting harder every time out. 89 miles an hour. 13 in a row he has sat down. Slider. Upton. Got it. 1, 2, 3. Hudson dealing, shutting out his old team, the White Sox. Foe to these Arizona Diamondbacks. He was a friend. And when you go back to June, Tampa, Edwin Jackson, a no-hitter, the second, matching Randy Johnson's several years before. There is the final out. Bartlett to Drew. Drew on a cross and a no-hitter. And a celebration ensued. It was in a year full of low points. That certainly was a high point worth celebrating.
That was a great moment in Diamondbacks history. Certainly not a great moment in Augie Ojeda's history. Augie Ojeda took a pretty good beating in that scrum.
Hudson takes a strike. 0-1 the count. He did go down, didn't he?
Hard. And got stomped on.
Swing and a miss. Good looking slider. 7 of the last 9 batters have seen 3 pitches or less from Hudson. So not only is he throwing strikes, he's engaging hitters early in counts. One and 2 the count. We mentioned Daniel handles the bat effectively. 8 hits this year. Not that time, though. That was a tough pill to swallow, that slider down and away. Our high-speed, internet high-speed pitch brought to you by our good friends and partners with CenturyLink. Well, we're not surprised. These are 2 of the hardest throwers in the game, and there's the numbers, 97 and 96.
And after kicking Edwin Jackson around a little bit in the first inning, Edwin has settled down nicely, and he's starting to deal as well.
It was kind of a sloppy inning. There was a balk that turned out to be a key play in the inning that Drew was moved on because Bierzinski couldn't get in tune with the dugout, who was sending him signs. That was part of the reason. Edwin could have just stepped off. That one is fouled off. 1-1 the count. So Kenny Rogers, is he playing? The country singer?
No. There is a country singer playing. His name is Jason Aldean.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
This is a celebrity softball game, by the way, folks. Gracie is playing with Jenny Finch. So you and Jenny, are there any other people on your team? Or?
Well, speaking of very talented females, Jordan Sparks.
She's talented.
Very talented. Local, American Idol.
You bet. My girls love her.
Whoa.
Yikes.
Just missed. 2-2. Larry Fitzgerald, the star wide receiver of the Arizona Cardinals. That's big league.
Yeah.
You know I'm all in for Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals.
You might need to spend some time with him, though, Gracie.
He needs to work on that stroke a little bit, no question.
Got plenty of time to do so, though. Swing and a miss. Boy, the strikeouts continue to be a pitfall for Kelly Johnson. That is 86 strikeouts.
Well, if you bring your family out to the MLB All-Star Fan Fest, July 8th through the 12th at the Phoenix Convention Center. Tickets are available now at theallstargame.com or by calling 1-888-FAN-FEST.
By the way, as Stephen Drew digs in, the celebrities that are competing on Sunday afternoon in the softball game, the all-star celebrities, they will be warming up, taking some batting practice over at FanFest. So you'll be whacking them around over at the convention center. Then you'll come over here and hit some homers off of Jordan Sparks. 2-0 the count.
And then some Hall of Famers will be there, some baseball Hall of Famers. Ernie Banks, Mr.
Really?
Cubs, sure. Goose Gossage.
Oh, boy. I'd be scared to face him in softball. 2-0, Steven. That one dives down and in.
Ozzie Smith's going to be there, the Wizard of Oz.
What about any of the guys from Full House television show?
No, Bob Saget's not going to be there. I think Bob Saget's out chasing Bigfoot or something like that.
Three and one the count. My apologies, folks.
Oh, Mary Kate.
Steven hits it hard. Wow! The glove there by Gordon Beckham. Oh, you know, that nice house in San Francisco.
Looking forward to bosom buddies.
Fries. Like us on Facebook during tonight's game. Receive a coupon for huge savings. Fries. Fresh food, famous low prices. Bad Teacher in theaters June 24th. Porsche. Visit Porsche of North Scottsdale at scottsdale.porschedealer.com. Maintaining composure. My apologies, folks, as we welcome you back. Back to the year 2011. We'll move back into the now, because now we are seeing a special night for Hudson. And I think in the backdrop is the fact that it's against the White Sox.
No question.
He fires another fastball in there into the mid-90s. A lot of them have gone. 1-1 the count. Edwin has a big league homer. He has 10 hits in his time as a big league hitter, as that one misses outside. So Daniel coming off 2 really good outings on the recent road trip. We talked to you about how engaged these hitters were for the Chicago White Sox early in counts.
He's now 3-1 on Daniel Hudson to start the 6th inning. That would be a large faux pas if you end up walking the pitcher to lead off an inning. And he does. Oh, he got the benefit of the doubt there from Angel Campos.
Had some late dive to it, certainly. If it was anywhere that it might have missed, it would have been a little bit in.
Edwin Jackson probably saying, man, I need that one too then.
Edwin puts it on the ground. Stephen Drew. Isn't that interesting? That's the same play that ended the no-hitter that Jackson threw last year, and it was Jackson that rolled into it this time.
Boy, Stephen Drew doing wind sprints out there. Nice play, though. He's got to go a long ways to make this play. And Edwin Jackson, a good athlete, getting down the line, making it close. Nice comeback there from a 3-1 count by Daniel Hudson to get that most important leadoff man.
7 6-3s in the scorebook. Drew to Miranda. 7 times Drew has made the play and done so each and every time effectively. And that play did have a familiar look to it, didn't it? Juan Pierre, big swing as he fouls it off. Pierre has played a lot of Major League Baseball and has done so specifically his own way as he approaches 2,000 hits. He's never been a guy that's walked a bunch. Has always stolen a bunch of bases. Bounces that one to the right side. On the 3rd pitch of the at-bat, he's done. And he is 0 for 3 in this contest against Hudson. That's a lot of ground ball outs. There's the ones that we told you about with Drew. That's 7, 8, 9 ground ball outs because Roberts had one. He's a fly ball pitcher, folks, but tonight he is effectively doing big things. That is different than what he usually does. Slider. Boy, right there. Just missed.
Just missed. This is the only hit tonight. This guy got it, a little swinging bunt in the very first inning. Since then, donut for these Chicago White Sox, and that's a strike 1-1.
Hovercraft slider that never broke, but yet was right there. And this is good news so far. If you're Gibson, you knock on wood if you hear me say this, but I wanted to maybe rest some of those guys in the pen. Oh my goodness. Fastball broke his bat. Steven again. Did he stay on the bag? He didn't. Drew almost made another fabulous play.
No, it just got caught in his glove. He ended up traveling. If this was the NBA, they'd have called traveling on Stephen Drew, but he just had trouble getting out of his glove. I'm assuming that's going to be an error. He can't get it out of his glove, and then he pulls Miranda off the bag, or does he?
Wow.
And he's not on the bag there.
Looks like he is when he catches it, though. Let's see.
Tough to tell.
Yeah, really tough to tell there.
Well, I guess they gave it a hit.
Now they've taken that hit off the board. They're reviewing, and that's an error. As that one is in.
And it is. I think that's the correct call. He just had trouble getting it out of his glove, and then panic set in, and he couldn't make the play. Now, just like that, because of Edwin Jackson's ability to settle in, Carlos Quentin's the tying run.
Yeah, you bet, and that's a key point. That as much as there's been domination by Hudson, you mentioned Jackson has stuck it to the Diamondbacks outside of that sloppy first. outside. Quinton, a supplemental pick of the Diamondbacks after the first round in 03 out of Stanford. 3-0 the count.
Well, he's probably got the green light here. He of 17 long balls. Now Stephen Drew going to come in and call him Daniel Hudson. Stephen Drew seeing, oh, say, man, that's my fault. Don't let that get to you. Pick me up right here. You know? I like to see that kind of leadership out of Stephen Drew. You don't see that much out of him.
Boy, I do too. I'm seeing some different sides of Drew this year, and they're all good. That corner exists again.
There's a fast strike for. Looked like Quinton was taken all the way there. Looked like it got the inside corner.
Barely. He didn't want anything to do with it.
No.
Not on 3-0, not on any count. That's a bat breaker. Oh boy, he loved that pitch.
Well, that one was right in the middle of the plate, and that shows you what kind of stuff Hudson's got tonight. He's gotten away with a few pitches in the middle of the plate. Carlos loves to get those big, strong arms extended.
White Sox trying to heat up against Hudson. Out front of a changeup. The runner was going, by the way, with the full count, 2 outs. So we'll do it again. He's a little bit quieter, isn't he? I mean, there's still a lot going on. But remembering him from back in 07. He settles a little bit more. Runner goes. Strike 3 over the inside corner. He locked him up with a front door slider. Quinton doesn't like the call at all. It was heading to his kneecaps, and then it grabbed the inside corner.
Yeah, he'll see that was a strike.
Summary as we welcome you back to the ballpark. The offense really interesting for Arizona. As we mentioned, things got a little turned around. Edwin Jackson, he balked as Brzezinski was trying to get more signs from the dugout. Runner on second, Justin Upton, a slider up. Drew can fly, and then Upton can fly because Miguel Montero found the gap. Fun to watch him run. And that's it. That is it. Otherwise, Jackson, since that first inning, hasn't given up a run. Has only given up 2 hits and 2 base runners in innings 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's Upton again. Bouncing ball, another hit for Upton. getting fun, isn't it, folks?
He's got half of the Diamondback hits tonight. He didn't waste any time. He just picked the first fastball he saw from Jackson and just hit a bullet of a ground ball into left field.
They're right behind Chris Young.
He's had a little difficulty gauging Edwin Jackson tonight. He struck out on 3 pitches his first time up, then popped up the first pitch he saw as Justin Upton's still getting dressed over there at first base.
Young had a stretch at the end of May where he hit below 200, and it was a good 2-week stretch. Since then, he's really rolling. He is, Gracie said, if he can figure out Edwin tonight. His last 27 games, he's hitting almost 330.
He's been terrific.
I mean, Gracie and folks, that's a healthy run.
It's a great run.
And that's not that man. I mean, that man is white hot, but Young just a step behind him. All right, I have to return to the stolen base question. Help us understand why or why not here. Why or why not? What would you think of it?
As far as what?
Would you go? Would you not?
Well, I think right now it seems like Justin's been over there 3 times now, and he hasn't even attempted one yet. So Edwin must be doing a good job of holding him on, or he and Eric Young don't have a trigger on Edwin Jackson yet. So to finally answer your question, I think it's a great idea right now. I think you got to try to press the accelerator.
Not going yet. It's lifted foul, as we told you earlier. Edwin Jackson, 14 stolen bases against this year, 14. And A.J. Pierzynski also has struggled mightily throwing out base runners. So you put the two together, it's a recipe to take a chance. A.J. this year only throwing out 20%. A good catcher, about 30%. Edwin's doing what he can, certainly. 47 stolen bases against that man this year.
That's the American League, too, where the stolen base is not a big deal. He got frozen by a breaking ball there. Good pitch.
1,300 games he has started in the major leagues, Pierzynski, as a catcher.
Okay.
Just surprising to me how engaged he is with the dugout. I mean,
probably just for pitch outs. That's probably all he's looking for is a pitch out.
It caused a balk in
Or
the
a throw,
first inning.
or a throw over.
He couldn't get the signs. They couldn't correctly get him to him. It really caused a balk, which threw Jackson off. Just thought about it. Bouncing ball. Runner not going. Can they turn two? And a chance. A barehanded effort by Beckham. So Young reaches. Let's see if he has an inkling to take off.
Nice play there by Alexi Ramirez. He gets an in-between hop, makes the play, and then a good bare hand there by Beckham, but he pulls him off the bag. Help send your favorite Diamondbacks to the All-Star Game this year. Fans can vote up to 25 times at dbacks.com. So visit dbacks.com now to vote for your 2011 All-Stars. Vote early, vote often. Vote today at dbacks.com.
Now that's a good read.
Thank you.
Good to have you back on track. Here's Miguel Montero. A pitch is a little bit low. 1-0 the count. Chris, certainly, as we mentioned, a threat to run and to move himself into scoring position. Hot shot, and it's a foul ball. To take further the issue of 20% with regard to throwing out base runners, Ozzie Guillen said, and I quote, "Guy steals second, guy steals third with a slide step. You, the catcher, have to wear it. You've got to admit you're not throwing the ball well right now. That's why we continue to work twice a week to get pitchers to go to the plate more quickly. If you have to take the blame, take the blame."
I like it. Accountability. That's all.
And I'll tell you this, to hear that quote and to watch Edwin work tonight, I think the pitchers are working on helping him out.
Well, Edwin's done a great job keeping would-be base stealers at bay.
But he's been awful prior to that this year, so it's truly a point of focus right now.
Chris Young with a big lead and another throw over.
Ian also said, the people think it's your fault. It's somebody's fault. It's not my fault. It has to be between the pitcher and the catcher. And the pitcher going slide step twice. Still couldn't throw out the base runner. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Slider or changeup there?
That was a slider, and it was a dandy. That thing just went straight down. That's the kind of tilt you want to have on your slider. Straight down. Beautiful pitch.
Well, he really got on top of that one. Almost hooked it. Dare I say, almost a reverse slider.
Oh, looking forward to that. Mr. Trevor Bauer evidently has a great reverse slider.
He had stopped by the other day.
Yeah, Brad Steinke got to interview him.
The 1-2. Bouncing ball, could be two. Couple of ground ball outs, one of them a double play. No running that inning by the Diamondbacks.
Hitting coaches. Uh-oh. Wow. You're going to hit it. You can hear sound off the bat. That had no chance of staying in. Just imagine if you and I had that kind of power.
Well,
that would really make us.
Well, if I had
Never
that,
mind.
If I had that kind of power, I wouldn't be divorced twice.
Nice.
D-backs fans, be sure to stay tuned for the Father's Day game between the D-backs and White Sox for the premiere of Mark Grace's Diamondbacks Championship Theater. I sit down with Tony Womack and watch the emotional 2001 Father's Day game when Tony hit a grand slam. That was a magical moment of 2001. Folks, those guys did a great job that I got to interview. It's not just Tony Womack. It's just great to talk about 10 years later. It just seems like unbelievable. It's been that many years since we hoisted that trophy. But, man, it's great to hear from the guys, and I think you guys are really going to like this thing.
High fly ball. Konerko out of Chaparral High. Out of here. You were saying between innings. I'll let you folks inside of the booth. Gracie saying, not able to add on. This game has one of those feelings of a team that might try to steal it from you.
Fastball middle. Paul Konerko has made a fabulous living hitting that pitch right there in that spot of the ballpark. Way, way out of here to left center field, and a one-run ball game here in the 7th inning.
Home run by Konerko. Although it's tough for the Diamondbacks, it's a good thing because $20,000 has been raised to support prostate cancer research. To make a donation, call 800-798-CURE or log on to www.pcf.org. www.pcf.org. Konerko lamenting the cold he has had to hit in back in the Midwest and back east. Thrilled that he is back into where he spends his winters, into where he grew up out here in Arizona. A lot of Paul's friends and buddies out there at the pool. And Paul went to the hip and took care of that for them. Gave the invitation for them and their kids. That's cool. Professionalism is the word that Ozzie Guillen uttered initially, because a lot of the local media asking about Chaparral's own Paul Konerko. Professionalism, good teammate, really solid hitter, and 3-2 the count to Pierzynski.
Now Daniel Hudson got to make sure he keeps his composure here. He was in a rocking chair for 6 innings, and then he makes one mistake and it gets smoked into the seats in left field. Now he's got to make sure he bears down and makes a pitch here on Pierzynski.
Dips down, picks in a changeup. The ballpark should hold it. And it does. It was the fact that it was a changeup that fooled him enough.
Oh, he made a good pitch there, 3-2. He made a gutsy pitch. Throwing the changeup there and getting the lazy fly ball to center field.
Konerko has 17 home runs, by the way. He has 53 runs batted in. 53 RBIs. Here's Alex Rios. As that one dives low. Konerko also with 16 RBIs his last 16 games. Rios out to Drew. Stevens stays busy throughout the evening. That is the 8th time he has retired. A member of the Chicago White Sox. Does have one miscue.
Alex Rios 3 times up. Alex Rios 3 ground balls to Stephen Drew. Daniel Hudson coming right back, keeping his composure, making some good pitches after the home run to Paul Konerko. 2 quick outs. Now Gordon Beckham, he's got a little power in his bat. He's got 6 home runs this year.
Out front, picked on a slider. Montero looks for room, pushes Beckham out of the way.
Pushes him right out of the way.
He bounced back from the homer. He didn't cave. The bottom line is this team needs more runs.
Slide presented by CenturyLink. Todd Walsh along with Joe Borowski. And Joe, on the pregame show, we talked about how intriguing the pitching matchup was. So many reasons. Edwin Jackson, Daniel Hudson. Looks like Daniel so far has the edge. What have you seen from him tonight?
Daniel Hudson, better known as a fly ball pitcher, but he's getting it done via the ground ball tonight. I'll break down his outing and show just how he's getting these White Sox to pound it into the ground.
Can you give us a little bit right now?
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Karen, Mark, we'll send it back to you. We'll wait.
I like that.
As always.
I like that, Joe. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Very good at teasing the viewers, and you guys do a fabulous job. We're excited to share just a small portion of the post-game show with you. It's Todd and Joe in the post-game show. Great show here at home. It's brought to you by CenturyLink. They're ready to go. You have the feeling, though, that there's a lot more to be written about this ball game.
Yeah, Edwin Jackson just after the Diamondbacks really rocked him around in the first inning. I mean, nothing since then. He's done a great job of keeping this potent offense right in the game. There's a line drive right to Paul Konerko.
That's a rare curveball. He doesn't throw many of them, but that was an effective pitch, even though he hung it because he wasn't really ready to drive it.
Got an out.
A little spinning curveball. Miranda leaked a bit. So now, Ryan Roberts. 100 pitches. That's where he's at right now. He's good for 100 every time out. He's gone 100 or more 9 of 13 of his outings. Slider is high. Pretty good pitch again. 1-0 the count. He has thrown as high as 124 pitches in a ball game this year. Right back to the screen. A ball and a strike on Ryan Roberts. Roberts doubled back in the second inning and grounded out to second base in the fourth inning. Bouncing ball, diving right by into center field. Alexi Ramirez. So a two-hit night for Roberts. What he needed one of these because Roberts, coming in his last 10 games, was hitting below 200.
Right at Joe West, the umpire. Get out of the way, Joe. And a good effort there from Ramirez, but it's by him. And as you said, good for Ryan Roberts. He needed one of these two-hit games.
What happened to the rest of Joe out there?
He's lost some weight. I didn't think I'd ever say this, but Joe looks good.
There you see the infield setup for Gerardo Parra. Yeah, somebody stole him somewhere. The rest of him, anyway. Good for him. Life on the road is tough, as we all know. All right, so we'll put it out there for you again, folks. Ryan Roberts has 9 stolen bases. Jackson has made a concerted effort to cut down the running game tonight. But the numbers tell you that both he and Pierzynski have been well below average in that area. Oh, and 1 the count.
Threw a high fastball right by Gerardo Parra there.
Daniel Hudson waits. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Now Hudson, just in case you were thinking about it, is at 92 pitches. And maybe that decision is different with the pen quiet right now if he's at 109. But he will stroll up there and hit for himself at 92 with what he's done tonight. Really one mistake. That's it. Pinching in the middle, looking for a ground ball. Back to the screen it goes.
You know, he's still throwing very hard, Edwin Jackson. His 106th pitch, just as firm as his first pitch of the game.
Edwin's career 156th start. Got 52 victories and an ERA of over 4.5. Well, maybe the window's just not there for those base runners because he's been so diligent.
Yeah, usually Kirk Gibson, a guy that likes to push the accelerator, but I mean, not even an attempt yet. So Edwin Jackson doing what his manager said. He's got to help out his catcher. He's been doing it.
Into the dirt, boy.
Nice play again by Przinsky. He saved a few wild pitches tonight. Just perfectly done there. Perfect execution of blocking a baseball.
1-2 the count. A lot of space in left center field, a ton. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. Off speed, and Parra fooled badly. He struck out twice and also lined to center.
That's been a strikeout pitch tonight, that good, sharp slider.
Daniel Hudson, fabulous tonight, as we mentioned. 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 4 strikeouts. Has lowered his ERA to 3.6 on the year. And a big swing, and he fouls it off.
A good rip at that pitch.
He is our APS Energy All-Star for his efforts this evening, and he will continue to add to those efforts. Had 2 great outings on the recent road trip. Should have won the game in Pittsburgh. The bullpen wasn't there for him. On the road trip, he gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs on the entire trip in 2 starts. That one is low. And that homer by Konerko, I should have pointed that out, and I did not do so, folks. That's only 5 allowed by Hudson this year.
Yeah, he hasn't been bitten by the long ball very much at all.
5.
If you're going to give him up solo.
Daniel drives it right field. Clinton going back. It's up against the wall. Ryan Roberts flying around. He comes home. Daniel helps himself. You want something done right, you just take a bat up to the plate and do it yourself.
Daniel Hudson had a really good rip at a fastball a couple of pitches prior. This time he has a good rip at a fastball, and he doesn't miss it. He drives it over the head of Carlos Quentin. Carlos playing shallow, and he's got no chance. I mean, this short hops the wall. I mean, that ball is blistered by Daniel Hudson. Goodness gracious. What a big hit, and that's going to be all for Edwin Jackson as Ozzie Guillen comes to get him.
Hudson, 6 RBIs, most among pitchers in baseball. The best RBI man amongst all big league pitchers. This White Sox bullpen has been knocked around a lot. Chris Sale, a talented young left-hander. He has seen his ERA bump up just a bit of late. He was the 13th pick overall in last year's draft. Not 3 years ago, last year's draft.
And started dominating last year. Had a great year last year. A hard throwing sidearm left-hander.
And the numbers for Edwin Jackson, disappointed in himself. Didn't walk anyone. Pitched into the 7th, not a bad outing. So he will watch as Kelly Johnson faces Sale. Fires a fastball over the outside. This young man lasted to the 13th pick. And yet when you look back at last year's draft, he is the lone player out of the first round to make it to the big leagues. And he made it right away, literally. A shortstop in the minors out of Florida Gulf Coast University. Kelly goes the other way. Down for a base hit. Up against the wall. Hudson can lumber home. Johnson needed that. Some insurance going the other way after Kelly had struck out 3 times. Arizona adds on.
Just beautiful hitting by Kelly Johnson. Not only did he need that, the Diamondbacks needed that. Back-to-back 2-out doubles by Daniel Hudson. And then look at that thing of beauty right there from Kelly Johnson. Smokes it past Juan Pierre in left field. That's impressive. Kelly Johnson was just thinking anybody but Edwin Jackson. 3 strikeouts going into that at bat. He took that 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Sale and just drilled it to left.
We have seen, and I know it's been a tough year for Kelly as Edwin with frustration looks on. But we have seen since Kelly joined the Diamondbacks, manager after manager go to the bullpen, play the book, and Johnson tear the book up.
Yeah, he's handled lefties very well this year.
And a visit. Well, they're really slowing things down. First a slow walk out there. Don Cooper comes out now, the pitching coach. Handling things like another team that wears black and plays in a big city. This is, dare I say, Yankee style of preparation for Ozzie. Long, slow walks.
Well, that's American League Baseball. Get used to it, folks. This is what you get if you head over to the American League, which, well, it's just not going to happen.
Hitting with runners in scoring position. Brad, what did we find out today?
Well, you know, Kirk Gibson was talking about it. He said it's really down all the way across Major League Baseball, but he said that's no excuse. He said, you know, the preparation there is there, but the execution is not. It's just a matter of having confidence to get in situations where you can find your pitch, and we're starting to see some signs of that tonight.
Swing and a miss. A tough lefty to do it. Thank you, Brad. I know Gibson went on and on about that last night after the game, after a big win, and then again today. The White Sox, it's just killing them. And their wins, Chicago's hitting .317 with runners in scoring position. And their losses, .160.
Yikes.
You talk about a different team. Swing and a miss. So Sale tough that time. Almost unfair, but Kelly continues to burn opposing managers who go get the left-hander. miscue. Home Depot tells you he's been very, very busy. You would expect maybe that would occur, and it was a very close miscue. Otherwise, he has been there for Daniel Hudson all night long. 8 assists, 2 putouts on the evening. He has been so busy and very solid. Thinking of dropping down a bunt is Brent Morrell.
Ozzie again watching
Golly.
Brent Morrell up there as third baseman. Probably tell Jeff Cox, his third base coach, go ahead and give him a sign to go ahead and drive it in the gap. Ozzie just looks fed up, doesn't he?
Yeah, they lost a couple of games in Minnesota. He was frustrated. That hat's been taking a beating on and off his head. That's one of the trademark habits of Guillen, is messing with that hat when he's frustrated. He'll go up and he'll leave it perched high up on his head for a good inning or so.
You know, his old mentor Bobby Cox used to do the same thing. Those hats used to take a beating with Bobby Cox.
Bouncing ball. There's Steven again. Off balance. Long throw. Got him. Goodness gracious.
Starting to make those plays look easy. And they're very difficult, folks. And the fans starting to get behind Stephen Drew as well. I like that. I mean, getting rid of it, all your momentum going the other way, and just throws a strike over to Juan Miranda. You got to have some kind of strong arm to do that, and he does.
And for Steven, yet another assist in this ball game. Career high in the ball game with 9. Veteran Mark Tien acquired, and he comes on to pinch hit for these White Sox. Has scuffled this year. Picked up by the White Sox and became a member of the organization last year. And he swings right through it. 0-2 the count to Tien.
Back-to-back fastballs just blown right by Tien.
Mark is 1 for his last 20. Played a little bit of third. He's played some first, played in left, broke his bat. There's Steven again. Good play on a hop. Got him again. Well, that's a real story tonight now. Well beyond his career high, and the one miscue was very close.
Just breaks his bat, shatters it, and then Steven can't catch it on the fly, so he just plays it on the hop, and over to first it goes again. Well, folks, if you like grounders to short, you came to the right place tonight.
So with 10 assists, you've got to think, as Juan Pierre digs in, you've got to think that Drew really has a shot at a triple-double.
Well, got to work on the rebounds.
Ten 6-3 ground outs. 1 E6 as well. It sails high and away to Juan Pierre. Hot shot, base hit, center field. So Juan reaches career hit number 1,912 for Pierre. You can make your own cool play. Fox supports Arizona. Chaz Roberts, Carrier, and Goodman want you to nominate a deserving Arizona family to win a new air conditioning system. Go to chazroberts.com / I should say, cool play for details. He has been making cool plays all night long. Pierre used to be an automatic with regard to stealing bases. Stole 68 last year. He's got 10 this year, and he's been thrown out 9 times.
Yeah, that's when it becomes you're hurting your ball club out on the base paths more than you're helping. And this is a huge batter right now for Daniel Hudson. He goes to 2-0. The tying run is in the on-deck circle in Carlos Quentin.
Oh.
You've got to find a way to retire Alexi Ramirez and retire him right now. And then worry about those big old boys like Quentin and Konerko. Worry about them in the 9th inning. You want no part of them here when they represent the tying run or the go-ahead run.
105 pitches as he pours that one in there. By the way, in Oakland, the A's 3, the Giants 2. Bottom half of the 6th inning. A's lead the Giants 3-2. Bouncing ball, a chance for Roberts. He got that key turning point hitter. They'll worry about Quentin next time.
Daniel Hudson, terrific tonight. He's already
this interleague series, and 5 in a row, and including a bounce that never occurred. Edwin Jackson, our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play. You see the buckles there. He never came set. Buckled as if he was going to, and then a balk was called. Look at A.J. Pierzynski. Twice waving to the dugout to tell me more, tell me more. And the line for Daniel Hudson tonight. 107 pitches.
He's acting like
back on.
He's acting like he's still in the ball game, isn't he?
Well, he is. J.J. Putz has pitched a lot, scuffled a lot. Brian Bruni comes on.
Former D-back.
As that one is up and away, 1-0 the count. They'll talk about it.
I think they'll have some guys up in the bullpen, but I think this is Daniel Hudson's ball game. And good for Kirk Gibson. I couldn't agree more.
That pitch is outside. 2-0 the count. J.J. Putz in June has appeared in 7 games, worked 7 innings, and has been unable to convert 3 of the 5 saves that he has attempted, just 2 successful. He's been human. He's still having a great season overall, but June's been tough. He's pitched the last 2 nights. The 3-0. 3-1 the count. Justin Upton with 5 consecutive hits. Going back to yesterday.
That one was a big one. Now, why not? 3-1. Go ahead and take a shot. Came up empty. Now let's see if you can go back to being a good leadoff man and try to get on base here. Ball 4.
Let's take a walk.
Very well done again by Justin Upton.
What a night. What a night. 4 times he has reached. Our text poll regarding the designated hitter. 96% of you don't like it.
Yeah. Good. You guys all agree that this is a National League town.
Now, you and I agree 100% on this one. We disagree on interleague play. I love it still, but I couldn't agree with you more. I don't like the designated hitter. I like managers managing.
I agree. That's the way the game was invented. Abner invented it to be pitchers hitting, double switching, pinch hitting. No,
it's just high.
Not all parts of interleague player. I just would like the Diamondbacks to be able to play the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves and the Cubs and Brewers more than just one time back there. I think National League teams should be decided by National League teams and American League teams likewise.
Upton takes off. The throw by Pierzynski, not in time. Stolen base. We wondered when they would look to take advantage of A.J. Pierzynski, and they finally did.
Not that great of a jump. There's the throw, and Upton just does get underneath. Joe West right there on the call. That foot just gets in there before the tag.
$13 for Upton. Two and one the count.
Got him to chase a high fastball, and 2-0, and he came up empty.
Again, same pitch, up and out of the zone.
Well, if you get him to chase it, go ahead and throw another one right in the same spot. Oh, man. Rooney wanted it. Campos wasn't giving it. Boy, what a good pitch that ended up being. But he didn't get the call. What do you think at home, folks? That shows it's off the plate.
Rooney have that big beard when he pitched here?
No.
3-2. Boy, an awkward swing. Young goes down on strikes. So Ozzie will make a call to the bullpen. Brian Bruni will head back to the dugout. We'll reset the situation. The Diamondbacks up by 3. Try Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, no blackout dates. CenturyLink, West is becoming CenturyLink. CenturyLink, your link begins here. Find out more at CenturyLink.com/link. CenturyLink. CenturyLink.
CenturyLink.
Miguel Montero. Will Omen, the veteran, continues to find work, gainfully employed just about every year. 21 appearances. Tough go of it thus far. 5.82 ERA. Montero, 13 of his last 29 with runners in scoring position. Driven in 21 runs in that try, and nothing doing there with Omen. Right down the middle from the man who began his career as a Cub, Will Omen.
Teammate of mine. My last year in Chicago.
But at Pepperdine.
And a good long career. Got a good fastball, sharp slider. The only thing that gets Will in trouble sometimes is bouts of wildness. Here you see that slider.
Oh.
Didn't get the call.
Born in Germany, his father was in intelligence in the United States Army. And finally moved back to the United States at 2. So an interesting childhood, to say the least, and as you said, an interesting career.
We got a hanging breaking ball there, and he fouled it back.
One and two the count. Fastball up. Montero looked to attack it. Love that view from behind home plate. One and two. Dugout level seats. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball.
What a pitch. Well, Father's Day is this Sunday, and it's not too late to get Dad a gift he'll really enjoy. Spend the day with Dad at Chase Field. Watch the Diamondbacks play the White Sox, and the first 5,000 dads will take home a D-backs barbecue set. Call 602-462-4790 or visit dbacks.com/homestand.
Boy, that was a good read.
Well, thank you.
Here's Juan Miranda with 2 outs. Breaking ball. Pierzynski keeps it right there with him. I'll tell you, we can talk about Pierzynski, and as a defender, maybe not the best thrower, statistically anyway, this year. But he's blocked up about 24 pitches in the dirt.
He's been terrific tonight back there.
You can see it's something, even though he's a veteran, he's won a World Series title, he's been around for a long time. You can see it's something he works on. His form is right on track.
What pretty breaking ball there.
Miranda 0 for 3. Batting average down to .230. Pops that one up. All right, looking to bust through that finish line. Bullpen's all quiet. Mr. Hudson, you're on. Oh, now, because though he fought his way through and cleaned things up, Daniel Hudson, who has been dynamic tonight on the bump against the team that traded him away, has Quentin, Konerko, and Pierzynski. And he has been really uncharacteristically on the ground a lot tonight with his outs. It's a fly ball pitcher. And away we go. Change up, strike one.
Oh, what a way to start the at-bat against a slugger like Quentin. Just drop a changeup in there. Perfect.
Daniel on 0-1 hit him.
Carlos Quentin not too happy about it either. I mean, this ball nails him right in the ribs. Ouch. And just like that, J.J. Putt starts throwing.
That is the fourth batter that Hudson has hit this year. Quentin, if you remember, folks, always had a magnet on that body. Now, that was nowhere near the plate.
Yeah, that was 93 miles an hour right in the ribs. Ouch.
But he is used to getting hit by pitches.
That'll make you make ugly faces.
Here is Paul Konerko. "15 times Quentin has been hit this year. 15. As that one is over the outside corner. Just for the sake of discussion, Mickey Mantle in his career was hit 13 times.
Man.
Quentin's been hit 15 this year.
Yeah, he just doesn't budge. He just stands there and takes it like a man. Probably a little more than he'd like.
89 times in his career he has been hit. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Nice little slider there from Daniel Hudson to jump ahead 0-2.
White Sox fans know that name on that glove very well. They watched him race through the system a couple of years back. He was a piece in a trade last year. Bouncing ball, foul ball. Daniel, in 2009, pitched at Kannapolis, Winston-Salem, Birmingham, Charlotte, and Chicago, all in 1 year. 5 levels, including the major leagues. Just about unheard of. And he did it in the White Sox organization. Did he go? He did!
Chad Fairchild rings it right up. No argument at all from Paul Konerko. Huge out for Daniel Hudson. It's another slider. And this time Konerko just gets it out there a little too far. Yeah, that's the right call. Good shot of Alan Trammell pointing at the bat as well from the dugout.
No balls and 1 strike to count. Back to the screen it goes. 115 pitches. Looking for his first complete game in the major leagues. Back to the screen.
Well, he got to a high fastball somehow and fouled it back. That was a good pitch there on 0-2.
Hudson through 2 complete games in the minor leagues. Never here up above. The right-hander, the 0-2, outside. Stephen Drew has played a fabulous shortstop tonight. Another part of the defensive story. Look out up above the dugout.
Mercy. Baxter's okay, folks.
One of our fine security staff, too. Our ushers down there got nicked by that one. Let's hope he's all right. Bill got him in the hand, so let's hope he's all right. The boss is checking. The 1-2. Bouncing ball. He's got it. There's one. Double play! For the first time in his major league career, Daniel Hudson goes the distance. And he does it against the team that developed him and last year traded him away.
Hang in there, Stephen Drew. He takes his beating. Daniel Hudson, what a way to treat your former team. So impressive. Take a bow, son. Maybe he's tired of everybody calling Ian Kennedy the ace. Maybe we've got co-aces here in the desert.
Hudson makes his all-star statement tonight. By the way, with 1 home run in the game, $20,000 has been raised for prostate cancer research. To make a donation, 800-798-CURE or www.pcf.org. Let's get to the post-game show. Brad and Joe are standing by. Brad down in the field. Todd is out there with Joe. Right after this commercial break.